Good morning, dear students of class 12. Welcome to the English online learning class. Today we are going to further continue with the lesson Ivan tries an O-level part 12. So, Ivan and the governor, they were in the Golden Lion Hotel, and governor had managed to track where Ivan was hiding. And as Ivan entered the hotel, when he found in his room Governor, he was terribly shaken because he never thought that this well laid out escape would be worked out and the governor would find him out. Ivan was visibly shaken. He sat down slowly in the only chair the small room could offer, and held his head between his hands for several minutes. There was utter silence. So Ivan was taken aback. Finally he spoke. It was that bloody correction slip, I suppose. With the governor he shared, probably you could work out because the bloody correction slip was left. Well, the governor failed to mask the deep satisfaction in his voice. There are only few people who knew a little German, and he was one amongst them. Slowly, very slowly, Ivan relaxed. He was beaten, and he knew it. He sat up at last and managed to smile ruefully. You know, it wasn't really a mistake. You see, we hadn't been able to fix up any hotel. But we could have worked that some other way. No, the really important thing was for the phone to ring just before the exam finished, to get everyone out of the way for a couple of minutes. So we had to know exactly when the exam started, didn't we? So now, even here, Ivan has not lost his nerves. He's having a nice, cool conversation with the governor. And like a fool, I presented you with that little piece of information on plate. So because time was very crucial and the correction slip was left there, it was a small piece of information on a plate for you to work out. Well, somebody did. So you see, sir, that correction slip killed two little birds with a single stone, didn't it? The name of the hotel for me, and the exact time the exam started for. The governor nodded. It's pretty common word. Good job. It is pretty common, sir, or never have known where to come to, would I? Nice name, though, Zam Gordon Lowen. How did you know it was Golden Lion? There's hundreds of them, same as you. Ivan's index number 313. Sender number 271. Remember, 6 figures. And if you take Ordnance Survey map of Oxfordshire, you find the 6-figure reference 313/271 lands you bang in the middle of the chipping Norton. So, not only the question paper was decoded, even the index number, the center number, which had the 6-figure reference of in the Ordnance Survey map of Oxfordshire. Yeah, you're right. We're open. You'd run off Newbury. We did. Well, that's something, I suppose. That question paper, Evans. Could you really understand all that German? I could hardly. Nah, of course, I couldn't. I knew roughly what it was all about, but we just opened it through a few spanners in the works. You know, sort of muddled everybody a bit. The governor stood up. Tell me one thing before we go. How on earth did you get all the blood to pour over your head? But there was still one thing which was puzzling for the governor. He asked Evans to tell him how did he manage to smuggle in so much of blood. Evans suddenly looked a little happier. Clever, sir, very clever that was. How to get a couple of pins of blood into the cell. Well, there's none there to start off with, And when the invigilator shall we stay, get searched before he comes in. Yes, sir. You can well ask about. I don't know. If I ought to tell you, after all, I might want to use that particular. Anything to do with that little rubber rings for piles, perhaps? So the governor said probably this was the reason. Evans grinned feebly. Clever though, was it? Must have been a tricky job sticking a couple of pins. Now, you've got it wrong, sir. No problem about that. No. Nah, it's clotting. You see, that's a big trouble. We got the blood easy enough, pig's blood. It was from the slaughterhouse at Killington. But to stop it clotting, you've got to mix actual blood. Evans took a breath with 1/10 of its own volume of 3.8% trisodium citrate. Did you know that, did you, sir? So he also conceded with the governor how they managed to smuggle in blood and that too prevent the blood from clotting. Pig's blood was used and then it was treated trisodium citrate to prevent it from clotting. The governor shook his head in a token of reluctant admiration. We learn something new every day, they tell me. Come on, lad. So the governor accepted that he has learned this from Evans. And this is what we learn also from the criminals. Ivan made no show of resistance. By the side, the two men walked slowly down the stairs. Tell me, Evans, how did you manage to plan all this business? You had no visitors. I've seen to that. You had no letters. The governor still wanted to know a few things. I've got a lot of friends, though. What? That's supposed to mean? Me, German teacher for a start. You mean? He was from the technical college, was he? Ivan was almost enjoying it all. Ever check up on them, sir? So even the German teacher was Ivan's. He helped in Ivan's escaping. God Almighty! There's far more on that. I always will be, sir. Everything's ready. Asked the governor as he stood by the reception desk. Now everything was ready for Ivan to be taken back to Oxford prison. The Vance was out the front, sir, said the pretty blonde receptionist. Ivan winked at her, and she winked back at him. It was almost made his day. A silent prison officer handcuffed the recaptured Evans, and together two men clambered awkwardly to the back seat of prison van. See you soon, Evans. It was almost as if Governor was saying farewell to an old friend after a cocktail party. Cheerio, sir, sir. I was just wondering. I know your German's pretty good, sir, but how do you know any more of those modern languages? Not very well. Why? Ivan seemed himself comfortably on the back seat and grinned happily. Nothing really, just happened to notice that you've got some O-level Italian classes coming up next September, that's all. So this time he would like to go in for Italian classes. Perhaps you won't be with us September, Evans. James Roderick Evans appeared to ponder the governor's words deeply. No, perhaps I won't, he said. As the prison van turned right from Chipping Norton to the Oxford Road, the hitherto silent prison officer unlocked the handcuffs and leaned forward to the driver. For Christ's sake, get a move on. It won't take them long to find out. Where do you suggest we make for? Asked the driver in a broad Scot accent. What about Newbury Way suggested Evans. So once again, Ivan has managed to fool the prison authorities, the governor, and he has planned his escape. At the time when the governor thought he had almost nabbed him, Ivan was free once more. We'll stop here and we'll work out on the question answers of this lesson in the next class. Thank you.